What's happening, everyone? Appreciate you joining us today for our travel talks, our Sanklofa Experiences travel talks. I'm your host, Freddie Taylor. I'm ready to serve you today in this conversation that we're having centered around travel. I always like to remind our community that Sankofa is a Twi word out of the Twi word out of the Ghana region that means to go back and get it. Sankofa means to go back and get it. So go back and get our history, go back and get our culture and bring that forward with us into the future. And that's why we call it the Sankofa Experiences. So welcome to our travel talks. This is where we have conversations centered around Black history travel experiences and try to answer some of the questions that you guys have to make traveling less anxiety driven, right? Less worrisome for our community. So let me do us a favor and advance the conversation by bringing up my screen so we can dive into our presentation today. Hey, while I'm doing that, let me know where you are watching from. I am in the south suburbs of Chicago, Illinois today, and we'll be traveling a bit coming up. I'm on my way to London at the end of the week for a Black Business Week conference. Going to have a great time there. So I'll be sure to poke in and drop some travel gems about traveling to the UK. All right, so at this point, you should be able to see my screen. I'll say officially, welcome to Travel Talks, and let's have a good conversation today. I'll leave some space for questions at the end, so if you have any questions or concerns, you can feel free to raise your Zoom hand and then answer those. I'll address those at the end. Hey, Shez in Los Angeles, appreciate you joining us and being here today. If you're watching on Facebook or any of our social platforms, you can click the Zoom link and join us and come in live to the discussion and engage with us, ask your questions directly. All right, I'm going to be quiet and get this moving along. All right, today we're talking about the concerns of international travel here during the Sankofa Experiences, our travel talks. Let's dive into it. But first, let me jump into our intro. Welcome to Travel Talks, where we embark on a journey of discovery with Sankofa Experiences, powered by Urban Intellectuals. I'm your host, Freddie Taylor, the CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals, here to guide you through our African diaspora's rich history and culture. Sankofa Experiences is more than just travel, it's a movement. We dive deep into our roots across Africa and the diaspora, turning every journey into a powerful connection with our ancestors. Our mission? To make the exploration of Black history accessible, inspiring, and informative. Join us as we share insights from our travels, celebrate our history, and foster a deeper understanding of our collective identity. With Sankofa Experiences, every destination is a step closer to home. Let's explore together. Welcome to Travel Talks. All right, everyone. Welcome to Travel Talks. I appreciate you being here. First question is, are you on the email list? So let's make sure that you're on the email list so that you're catching all of our wonderful information that comes out about traveling the African diaspora and traveling with Sankofa Experiences and all the education and free resources that we drop during the email. So make sure that you join our email list. Thank you, Ashley, for dropping that in the comments. But what's going on at the company? Urban Intellectuals is our parent company, and there's always a lot going on in the Urban Intellectuals universe, so I like to highlight some of those things. One being our travel summit is coming up this Monday. It is coming, right? October the 13th is Monday. October the 13th. I want to make sure I got that date right. I got that date right. Yes. Right? Are y'all with me on that? Am I messing that up? October the 14th. There we go. Monday, October the 14th is the travel summit. It'll be done on the Zoom platform just like this. But we're exposing Columbus, roots, routes, and your journey home to Africa. That is a federal holiday. It is Indigenous Peoples Day. But we're going to expose Columbus. And I got a great crew coming to have these conversations with us, Mr. Jay Cameron and Ahmed Prince, our Egyptologist. And myself, Freddie Taylor, will be there as well. So we're going to have a great discussion about traveling the African diaspora with Sankofa Experiences. So hopefully we will see you there on Monday, October the 14th. Our Black History classes are in full effect. And if you don't have a membership, man, you're really missing something special. Dr. Aiden was breaking down at the different levels of African history, going way back, tens of thousands of years. It was an amazing night. Last night, he did a double class. It's a beautiful experience happening inside of our Black History classes for adults. So make sure you can check that out. Don't miss any more. Hey, but tonight I want you to join me for 3 reasons why our story must be told before slavery and what you can do about it. That's really the big thing. Tonight, Tuesday, October the 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link is in the comments to come on and join us as well. 3 reasons our story must start before slavery. I'm sick and tired of this narrative about us being nothing but the descendant of slaves, right? We got a bigger conversation to have. And this is, again, no disrespect to the ancestors who survived that period whatsoever, but it's more so of an acknowledgement of what was going on before that particular period, all of which is us. Hey, how about while supplies last, you get yours today. Our 365-day Black Facts and Quotes calendar is available. It was a waiting list. They are in the warehouse now. There were only a thousand, I believe, when we first ordered. There's like 650 left, so it's going pretty quick. This is our 2025 Black History Illuminaries 365 wall calendar. Check that out. There's a Black History fact each and every day of the year inside of the calendar. All right, that's a lot. I told you there's a lot going on around here at Urban Intellectuals. But let's dive in. What's your biggest concern that has held you back from traveling internationally, especially to places like Africa? In the comments, if you don't mind participating with me here, what has been your biggest concern? For those of you that haven't been to the continent, what has been your biggest concern? I know we hear a lot of things, right? We hear about safety. That's often a big concern of the audience, at least that I've seen. Oh, and during the flight, I forgot about that. That's a good one. That is definitely at the top of the minds of our community. People are concerned about the length of that flight. Trying to see if Facebook had joined in with any questions. Yeah, safety, danger. I've heard that. The vaccinations, taking the vaccines, the language barriers, being able to eat, right? The food, can I drink the water? General uncertainty. I've heard all of these things. Any am I missing anything? I'm probably missing a few things. But yeah, enduring the flight is definitely a big one. One thing that we tried to talk about in relation to the flight length is to remember why you're going. What's on the other side, right? What is on the other side of that long flight, right? I'm getting ready to travel. I think I got travel time about 10, 12 hours to, there's some layovers in that going to London, right? I'm flying from Detroit to Chicago and then Chicago straight in with some layovers. But just remembering what's on the other side of that, right? This experience that you're excited about going to see, this history that you're going to experience, or going into the dungeons to experience what the ancestors went through and survived in order for us to have these opportunities, right? So just kind of keeping that helps, right? When you travel in 17 hours, you still travel in 17 hours, right? So I get that, but it's really not as bad as it seems. And the first time that you go and you experience it, then you'll know, and you'll be able to break down that barrier. Unrest in the surrounding countries. Brenda, that's a good one as well. There's definitely always some unrest, right? But I try to remember that it's usually pretty isolated, right? There hasn't been a continent-wide war at the same time where you've just been in danger everywhere in the continent. But we're definitely not going to areas that have been agitated and the war is happening. Yeah, but there's always something going on, right? Even in America, right? I'm in Illinois. There's stuff going on in cities not too far from me. There's stuff going on in states not too far from me. There's always something going on in the areas that we are around. The heat and the bugs. Yeah. Yeah, you ain't gonna get away from that heat. Like right there. You ain't gonna get away from that. But You can go in the down months, right? In the off seasons, right? But if you're going into West Africa, closer to the equator, it's gonna be hot, right? If you're near the equator, it's gonna be hot. It just doesn't matter what season that you go to. But there are some opportunities to duck some of the weather, right? Um, oh, I was sharing my screen the whole time. Okay. All right. I thought I was on. I thought I was on the whole time talking to y'all. Okay, but no, yeah, there are a lot of different concerns. So let's dive a little bit deeper into a few of them. Now I know I'm sharing my screen and I'm off, right? Let me make sure. There we go. All right. So what's the biggest? Okay, so we talked about some of the biggest concerns. So let's dive in a little bit more and address a few of them. Why travel it? Why travel internationally, right? Here's just a quick. What's happening, good people? That's right, I'm back, right? We're back in Cairo, Egypt on another Urban Intellectuals travel movement. I'm here in my room at the Sheraton right here on the Nile River in Cairo. You can see the little bit of the Nile over here and then the city center. People are just arriving today for our tour. We're very excited. They are very excited. We got to meet a couple of them and we were on the same flight. But right now, I'm about to go down and have some lunch. It's midday, busy in the city. 25 million people here in Cairo. It's crazy, right? Can't wait to get it started. Can't wait to see the history. But y'all know what's missing. You. That's right. You know what's missing. And what's missing is definitely you from having these experiences. So we can't allow something like a long flight. Sometimes that might take up to 22 hours, right? And that's not just consistently flying. I think that's an important part to remember when we're thinking about the flight time and that concern that many of us might have. It's not consistent flight time, right? You're not in the air for 22 hours. What's likely is you got a layover in a different city somewhere. So that's one way that it's able to break up, right? So sometimes there's a flight out of, say, DC, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, that you end up going into Europe somewhere. Those flights are anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, just depending on exactly where you're going. So that's one flight. Then you're going to have a layover with some time to stretch, walk around, rest, get something to eat, get something to drink, get back on the plane. And depending on where you're going in Africa, it could be another 6 to 8 hours or longer, honestly, coming from Europe going into the continent. The continent is humongous, people. So keep that in mind as well. But that breakup can help break up the monotony of flying. But when you're flying, you're strapped into your seat, but you can get up, you can walk around, you can use the restroom. People, you see people stretching, you're watching movies, you're having conversations. I believe if you have the internet, you can be connected. It really isn't as burdensome as we make it out to be in our minds, right? I think sometimes we have to kind of go dive in and see it for ourselves, right? Give ourselves the benefit of the doubt and go for it to experience it. But okay, but it traveling internationally broadens your perspective. I'm often talking about travel changes you. That's just the facts, right? Travel changes you and it changes how you see the world. More cultural immersion, deepening your appreciation for art, history, foods, getting some just different experiences, right? It expands everything, your palate. I'm eating dishes that I never would have thought I would have eaten, but travel changes you, right? Break from the routine. You can refresh your mind and body by stepping away from daily routines and immersing yourself. We're always talking about self-care, and sometimes disconnect is a part of self-care to expand your experiences. And it's all important, right? So to keep the balance going. And I'm just biased to travel because it's right? What's happening, good people? That's right. I'm going. But here's some of the common concerns that at least I want to address today. And again, we can go in the comments, or if you have any direct questions, I'll address those as well as best I can, right? So common concerns of international travel: safety, logistics, budgeting, and language barriers, right? Those are some of the key issues that people are concerned about. So let's talk about them, right? Safety is number one concern, I think, for most people, right? But travelers are worried about their health, right? And this is something that we're really concerned about. But health risks like unfamiliar diseases or lack of medical care are concerning. preparing with vaccinations and cancel anytime travel insurance with medical will help ease these concerns. And I want to come back on camera because that's like the key concern I think most of us have. It's like, man, what if I go over here and something happens? What if I go get sick? What if I eat something that doesn't agree with my stomach? What if a bug bites me and I become ill? What if I sprain my ankle and it's just really bad and I can no longer walk? What am I going to do in that situation? Does anybody have those types of concerns, right? And especially if you're traveling, like I travel with my dad, who would be 95 this Saturday, right? He graduates from 94 to 95. So you have to get used to me saying 95 now. But I travel with him. We just got back from Cuba, in Egypt before that, right? So traveling with him or traveling with your children is always a major concern, right? Um, so I think the best way to handle that is just doing the most preparation that you can. And the number one thing that we push is cancel anytime travel insurance with medical. That's a whole mouthful, but it's an important one. Cancel anytime travel insurance with medical. And it has evacuation insurance in there as well. So you need to read some of the details. Don't just buy the cheapest, most affordable option. Remember, this is a major concern. So you want to alleviate as much concern as possible. But if you get this, they have medical facilities in all of these locations that we travel to, right? The thing is, your insurance, probably 99 out of 100 times is not going to cover your normal insurance that you have here in America. So you have to get an additional layer of insurance, or you can pay cash, right? And it ain't gonna be cheap. It ain't none of that, right? But this is why we invest in the cancel anytime travel insurance with medical, because if something happens, God forbid, you could go to the hospital, get taken care of. And if you need an emergency evacuation, or if you need to be flown home, all of that is included. But that alone, I think, would eliminate 50% of our fears, because our minds can start to run wild with the possibilities of what could happen and we start spiraling downhill, right? But what if we prepared a backstop for that ahead of time? And I think that cancel anytime travel insurance with medical is that backstop right there, right? I'm not saying that it's going to alleviate all of your health concerns or anything like that, but I know it'll reduce the anxiety by a tremendous amount, right? Y'all with me on that? Anybody agree, disagree? Want to battle rap over it? I kid. But I think like that's a really important thing, because if you could take care of that, I think it alleviates a lot. And then the second part of that is the vaccination process. Folks are concerned about taking vaccines, particularly if you're older. You don't want to add more vaccinations to your regimen if you're just concerned about it. Maybe you're just concerned about vaccinations in general, right? What I can tell you is the only required vaccination right now is yellow fever, and that's for some West African trips, Nigeria and Ghana, and then Tanzania are the only places where yellow fever is required. And that's required once every 10 years. They're talking about moving to a lifetime. So once you have it, it's over. But we always recommend, whether it's required or not, that you talk to your doctor ahead of time. So speak with your doctor and your physician. If they determine that this isn't right for you, you can just take a medical exemption and not take that shot as well. My dad didn't when we went into Ghana. He didn't take it because he was 87 at the time, and the doctor felt like, this is not a good idea, right? So he didn't take that. He went into Ghana. We had a great time, and it was wonderful, right? West Africa, they'll talk to you about, oh man, what's the mosquito driven malaria? There we go. They'll talk to you a lot about malaria, so they'll sell you some malaria pills and things of that nature. Those are optional if you want to fight the concerns with malaria. I use mosquito repellent, and typically I have longer sleeves on if we're going into certain parts, right? Yeah, but it's always you always got to speak to your medical physician first, right? But it's not and some of the other places are nothing. Like going into Senegal, there's no requirements. Going into Morocco, there's no requirements. Going into Egypt, nothing. Going into Ethiopia, nothing. Going into South Africa, nothing. Kenya, nothing, right? There's no requirements. So not every country in Africa has any type of requirements or concerns by the CDC for that matter as well. So again, more to think about when we're trying to alleviate these concerns, right? Personal safety, concerns about crime, scams, political instability. We talked about all of that. But researching the destination and staying informed about local conditions can improve the safety. But the facts of the matter are traveling with an experienced group like us, urban intellectuals, really is the best way to go because we've already scouted out all of this. We have the relationships. And of course, our team is keeping an eye on the news because, we're not going into any dangerous situations, period. Right. But like that is always a major concern when you're traveling internationally. Yeah, something to think about. So tips for staying safe, stick to well-populated areas, be mindful of your belongings, and always let somebody know your itinerary. Um, don't pull all your money out. Like all of the stuff like your parents used to tell you when you're traveling, right? Keep your money in different pockets. Don't pull it all out at one time. Be cognizant of where you're putting it. Don't put anything into your back pockets, maybe your front pockets. I like to wear one of those strap like backpack things, and I don't wear it on my back. I have it facing frontwards, so all of my stuff is right here, and it's close to my being. But just stuff like that help you stay not being a target, right? Like they're already going to know that you're traveling, but certain things tip like this might be your first time or you might be alone, right? Oh, let me keep going. But again, being in a group of people really is what it boils down to make it even easier for you. All right, but another concern is the language barriers and cultural etiquette. But communication challenges in local languages when you're ordering foods and things like that can be worrisome. But it's 2024 now, and they got these language translators and these apps, and all of this is really, really breaking down the barrier of communication between people. I mean, you literally just hold it up and then it translates right in front of you. It's incredible. Here's the other kicker, though. Most people speak multiple languages when you travel, right? So if you're traveling to areas, particularly in the tourist rich areas, then they're going to speak 9 times out of 10, they're going to speak English or somebody else is going to speak English that can translate. If you come with a group with us, obviously all of our people speak the local languages and speak English, so they're able to translate for you and negotiate with you if you're bartering for services or products, right? But that language barrier doesn't have to be another reason for you not to go somewhere, right? Like you will be amazed how many people you're going to meet that speak 4, 5, 6 or more languages, right? The more you travel, the more I start to feel like only knowing one language is a US thing, right? I don't know. That's like most of us. I know some of us are bilingual or even trilingual, right? But for the most part, Americans tend to only know English, right? And as you travel into other countries, you just start to see how many people have multiple languages under their belt. It's really fascinating. I think it's wonderful, right? It does great wonders for the brain. Raise your children to learn multiple languages or your grandchildren if you have it. Building connection with the limited skills. Yeah, so be friendly, be respectful. We always say leave America in America when you're going on these travel experiences, because that's just important, right? Be respectful of the people that you see, but also enjoy yourself, right? Yeah, all the travel adventures have a good time involved in it. Number three, obviously the money, right? The budgeting concern and travel logistics, like putting the trip together, right? Going, figuring out where you're going to go. So managing the travel experiences, many worry about the cost of flights, accommodations, daily expenses, creating a budget and finding deals to help make international travel more affordable. Transportation and navigation, figuring out how to get around, where to stay, and what you can do to feel overwhelming. Researching transportation options, planning ahead can simplify the logistics. Handling the currency and finances, currency exchange rates, and access to money abroad are common concerns. Consider using travel-friendly bank cards and understanding the local currency before you go. Like these are all like key points that you need to consider when you're traveling. And frankly, this is part of what overwhelms people when it comes to international travel, because there are so many things to think about, right? Like the currency exchange. Where do I go? Who do I use? What is the currency exchange rate? And what do they mean this market rate today? And it changes on the fly, right? Because there's daily fluctuations going on in the valuation of the currency. Should you trade it off the street, right? On the street corners, or should you go to the bank, or should you trade it at the airport or the hotel? Like a lot of these are concerns that you have when you're going into a new place. And they're all different in like different countries, right? But again, I'm biased, right? But this is why traveling with a group of people who have already figured all of this out, and it can assist you in that, ease that burden, right? And it kind of greases the skids, so to speak, to get you for taking that international trip. So, but same with transportation and navigating around the city. What do you see? What do you need to see? How are you going to get there safely? Managing and navigating all of that can be overwhelming and a headache. And then, of course, the travel expenses, right? The cost of international travel, the flight, the food, the tipping culture, like how do all of these things manage? Unless you're just one of these trust fund babies. I hear they are out there. This is like mythical stuff to me. These trust fund babies. I don't know who they are. So if you're one of those, I would like to be a trust fund baby number one. So if you just want to leave me something, that's cool. I can live with it, right? But unless you're one of those, traveling, budgeting but figuring out the cost of the travel is really, really important. But that's why we suggest that people, plan 9, 12, 18 months ahead of time. And then even an expense like $7,000, $8,000 isn't as crazy when you have runway and time to build up for it. Or, use your taxes or whatever means that you might have in order to pay down the experience to have these experiences of a lifetime. So just planning ahead of time is just really important when it comes to it all, whether you have to figure out the navigation and travel or the currency or figuring out what you're going to see and experience along the way yourself, or not having enough time ahead of time really, really helps with the process. That's where I'm going with that. All right, but after today's discussion, what's one step you feel ready to take towards planning your first international trip to Africa? Is there a step that you were hesitant about that maybe I addressed a little bit that you feel more comfortable with, or is there something that you want to dive deeper into and have a follow-up discussion for? I am open to all of this because, of course, we want to invite you to come and travel with us, a trusted organization, Urban Intellectuals, during our Sanklofa experiences. But I am open to questions. So if you're in the Zoom room and you have any specific questions, you can raise your Zoom hand and I'll be glad to answer them. Or if you are in the Facebook or just leaving it in the chat in general, you can leave any questions there as well. I see some yeses over here. Hey, Nicole, appreciate you. I sent you a direct message. Okay. Bam. Yes. All right. If you don't want the @ you can definitely opt out of that on Facebook. That is your choice. When is your next trip? We actually leave. Is that today, Ashley, or in the morning? Right. They're headed to. Go ahead. Was that today or tomorrow, Ashley? Do you? You got it. Oh, Ghana. They're in Ghana now, right? Yeah, yeah. There it is. So Ghana is happening right now. There's another trip at the end of October going into November. We're traveling in December. I mean, November. We're traveling in December. We're traveling in January. We're traveling in February as well, right? So we are cooking, right? When it comes to traveling to Africa, it just depends on when you are interested in going. But shares to get the direct. There you go. Thank you, Ashley. Drop the link for me, sankofeexperiences.com. You can go there, click calendar, and you can see all of our list of our travels, or you can select by flag, by nation, where you want to travel to, and then you will see all of the available dates for rest of 24 and 25. We haven't released 26 just yet. Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for that question. Angela, someone is asking for the cost. Again, if you go to sanklofaexperiences.com, you can check out the cost of each of the trips. They vary, right? It just depends on where you're going and what time of year, right? Because some of the years are more traveled than others, and they're more expensive. For example, like our New Year's trip to Ghana is a bit more expensive than the regular Ghana trip. But you will find that trips range from, I want to say, like $4,500 to about $6,500, just depending. Are you in a single? And again, what day, what time of the year are you traveling? Are there agents? Do you have a payment plan? Yes, there is a payment plan for all of them. In fact, when you go and you decide to sign up, so let's say you select Senegal in May of 2025, right? Before you put down your deposit, so you'll click, you'll go in, you will say Senegal 2025, December, and then you will actually see the entire payment schedule, the payment plan schedule, right? You could pay in full upfront if you want to, or you can pay the monthly installments, but you will see that the dates, they'll come out, all of that ahead of time before you put down anything, right? So that's one thing of note there. You're so welcome. All right, and Renee asks, are there agents to help with the process? I am a first timer, although I am looking forward, I feel overwhelmed. All right, that's very good, Renee. Yes, so once you go ahead and sign up, you can also email Ashley. What email should they use for the concerns? Because Ashley can assist you. We're walking through with the sign up process, right? If you have any questions there you go. So support at sanklofaexperiences.com. Renee, if you need any specific assistance. But if you go to the site, sanklofaexperiences.com, click the link, go ahead and book now. It's a really easy process to walk you through it. But again, if you have any questions, Ashley will be able to assist you. Just send an email to support at sanklofaexperiences.com. But once you're signed up, that won't be the last time that you hear from us. There's regular email communication and training, culture training courses leading up to the trip, right? So conversations on what you should pack, the behavior, what you can expect, and things like that, talking about the weather and answering any of your concerns that you have leading up to the trip as well. So yeah, sanklofaexperiences.com is the best place to start. Or if you have any specific questions, particularly when I get off of here, you can always email us at support@sanklofaexperiences.com. But yeah, Renee says she is excited. Angela is excited as well as shares. Hopefully you are as well. Let me see if I got anything. Is a replay available? Yes. Well, the replay be in the group, right? So right here, you're in the Facebook group, you will see it there. Also, we always post these on our YouTube channel as well. So youtube.com/Urban Intellectuals. Just search Urban Intellectuals. You can always see it there. All right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can always come back to the group and get that and get the replay. But we'll definitely follow up with you. We got to email Ashley. If you could check the Facebook comments, we'll make sure that we're on top of that. All right. Any other additional questions for me today? We are doing, this is another installment of our Travel Talks, Sankofa Travel Experiences, conversations that we're having centered around Black History travel made easy with us here at Urban Intellectuals and Sankofa Experiences. I got Sankofa on the brain there. Okay, but I appreciate y'all joining me today. I do want to say, I've been sharing this whole time.
Wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. This is Wanda Williams. My email is STACEYERIC, the number two, at sbcglobal.net. A couple of ago, I had gotten to go to Ghana, but I found out that you had to be vaccinated in order to go to Ghana. I haven't taken any vaccination in 2018. I need to know what countries can I go to without being vaccinated. You can send that to me through my email. I missed it. I'm kind of moving around and I'm listening, but then I'm not. So if you already answered the question, I'm sorry, but if you would send it to my email, what countries I can go to being unvaccinated,
Okay,
and that would help me a lot because I would
can you,
rather.
I'm sorry. Oh, did she disappear? Looks like, hey, Wanda, are you able to type your email into the comments? Because I think we missed it. Ashley, I'm not sure if you missed it or not. But I can say the non-vaccinated countries are Senegal, Morocco, Egypt, Kenya, Ethiopia, South Africa. So I can name six off the top of my head right there. Senegal and the Gambia. That's all. We go there on the same trips. But those don't require anything, any vaccinations or anything like that. Again, I can name that off the top of my head. Probably if I looked and made sure, there may be a couple of more as well. Well, we're going to Brazil, and yeah, we're going to Brazil next year as well, and that doesn't require a vaccination. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions that you have? And Renee, you don't have to be overwhelmed, right? We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna breathe through this and communicate with Sister Ashley. She'll help get you walk through. Make sure that you select the right trip, the right time that works for you. Get you all signed up and get ready to have this experience of a lifetime. Right? It's a long flight. It's gonna be a nice flight, though. It's gonna be a beautiful experience. Right? I've International travel isn't the nightmare that it used to be in the 70s, right? In the 80s. This is way different now. So look forward to an enjoyable trip. I'll do my best to, and Ashley maybe hold me to this, to chronicle more of my the lead up to going to London. Right? I'm just going to London, right? There's a 6 hour time difference between here and there. It'll be a nice flight. Got a little couple of layovers. So I definitely make sure I try to share some more content around that and being on the flight. What am I doing? That's good. Because no, I don't fly first class. I wish I did. I got bumped up one time, and man, it's different than economy. I'll tell you that. But that price is way different as well. But if you want to go first class, man, that is definitely the way to travel. I'll tell you that. But I normally am in economy, right? Just in a nice normal seat. And you'll see I do my best to share more of what it looks like. So that'll be good. That'll be good. I didn't even think to take more video stuff on the plane, but that seems to be a big concern. So I'll make sure I do that. And next time I go back to the continent, I'll make sure I film that as well. Okay. All right. Any additional questions for me before I get out of here? I don't see any Zoom hands raised. All right. I don't see any comments. Let me check on Facebook feed. I think we are up to date over there. All right. Excellent. This has been a great time spending with y'all, right? A good show today. We got a bunch of questions answered, hopefully a bunch of concerns dealt with and fears alleviated. But I want to make sure I invite you again to our travel summit, October the 14th, Exposing Columbus, Roots, Routes, and Our Journey Home to Africa. I got two amazing guests that are coming to have a wonderful and powerful discussion with you, not only about traveling to Africa. We're going to deeper dive into Egypt in particular with Ahmed Prince. and with an amazing discussion about, you know, the origins of the Kemetic civilization. Yes, they Black folks, right? All of that. Don't let nobody tell you that Africa ain't in. It's in the Middle East. Africa ain't part. It's Africa. Egypt ain't in the Middle East. Egypt is part of the continent of Africa, and so is its long history and legacy. And that's what we explored during that Egyptian trip. And then Brother Jay Cameron's going to knock your socks off with his travel stories and his experiences around the continent. I call him Mr. Africa, right? It's a beautiful discussion and a powerful one. So I'm definitely looking forward to sharing that one with you. But this has been great. I appreciate y'all joining me today on Travel Talks. Let me give you my outro. And again, if you have any questions, you can email us at support@urbanintellectuals.com. Greetings, I'm Freddie Taylor, CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals, and we are behind the Sanklofa experiences. This is where Black history travel made easy is not just our mantra, it's a promise. Our mission? To reconnect you with your roots, your culture, and the history of the African diaspora. Now spanning across 10 African nations and the vibrant cultures of Colombia and Brazil, the Sanklofa experiences is expanding. We've crafted curated group travel experiences that do more than just visit. They immerse, they educate, they transform. From the historic forts of Ghana to the bustling markets of Nigeria, the serene beaches of the Gambia to the rugged mountains of Morocco, and beyond even South Africa and South America, each destination holds a special place and part of our story. Embarking on these Sanklofa journeys means more than just exploring more landscapes. It means walking in the footsteps of the ancestors, embracing the diversity of our heritage, and seeing the world through a lens of understanding and appreciation. It's a group experience where every traveler is a thread in the fabric of the shared narrative, making the journey safe, engaging, and unforgettable. So are you ready to embark on this adventure? To explore, to learn, to celebrate the legacy that connects us all. Join us in the Sanklofa experiences, proudly powered by Urban Intellectuals. The only thing missing is you. The only thing missing is you. Make sure you check us out. Travel Talks every Tuesday, not next Tuesday. Again, I'll be in London. But the only thing missing is you. So we just want you to make sure that you're connected with us. SanklofaExperiences.com to stay connected with everything that we're doing. Appreciate y'all joining me this afternoon, this morning, depending on where you're watching from. But that's it for a Travel Talks edition today. I appreciate y'all. Peace and blessings. Love, peace, and power to the people, good folks. Take care. Have a great day.